Welcome to the How Did Show, where interesting people answer the questions, how did I get here? And how in the hell did I get here? With your host, Donovan Corneets.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of the How Did Show. And man, when I tell you we got a special one for you today, I mean it. I know I say it a lot, but this time it's for
I wish you'd be
real.
like, man, when I say we got a special one today, I'm lying.
Yeah, all the other times, trash. I'm just kidding. Thank you to all of my previous guests. It's a joke.
No, I was saying this one.
This really is a truly special episode because my guest today is an Emmy and NAACP Award nominated writer, actor, showrunner, and even an accomplished DJ, along with his creative partner, Bashir Salahuddin. He has released 2 hit comedies at the same time, the award-winning Sherman showcase on AMC and the hilarious HBO Max show Southside. He's written for Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, The Last OG, and even the ESPYs. I can go on and on for at least another 25 minutes listing his accomplishments, so I'll just say welcome to Diallo Riddle. What's going on? Who you got? Yes.
I'm in the building. So you can tell I'm a DJ because I have
exactly in the mix.
I got the whole sound bank. Yeah, I had a British friend who played Sade on Sherman showcase.
Okay, yeah.
Who does my DJ Diallo in the mix? You know, like
you gotta have in the mix on that.
Where else would you be?
In the mix.
Yeah, man.
But yes,
thanks for having me on.
No, thank you, man. This is an honor. It's a pleasure to have you on. And also, I got to throw in a quick thank you for having me be a part of the Sherman Showcase family. You know what I'm saying? I'm representing with the album, the soundtrack.
I caught it. You got so many different levels of representing right now that I feel shame that I'm like not. I'm on a Southside jacket. Boom.
Hey, shout out to Southside. Recent nomination NAACP. So congrats on that.
I'll tell you the truth, man. I feel like from the second the Sherman Showcase came out, I felt like, oh, this thing is going to definitely get some awards. And we've won an Emmy. We've been nominated for a NAACP Image Award. The NAACP Image Award for Southside is the one that's actually not shocking to me, but like I don't feel like we ever went into Southside thinking like, you know, oh, this is going to be award bait. Like for us, it was almost like, oh, this is going to be like a true, like this thing is going to be kind of hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
kind of cult classic.
That was the vibe on Southside. Yeah. And the fact that people actually saw it, liked it enough to, you know, even just nominate us. I just want to thank the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. You know, I just think that what it really stands for. I'm joking.
Yeah,
but
no, right.
You know, like that's really
still we can't get a.
I want to thank the colored people. If you take nothing else away from this interview, take away that.
Exactly. Well, no, man, that's a great accomplishment, and yeah, it is a great show. To anyone who hasn't seen Southside yet, first of all,
it's a great show.
I always say silly, it's ridiculous, and it's awesome and brilliant.
It's never lost a fan, man. I'm not saying it because we work on it. It's like I'm so proud of it. I feel like it's like that kid who's like killing it, but the coach ain't giving him no play time. Like I'm like, come on, y'all, put Southside in the game, man.
Put him in, coach.
Show. Tell 5 people if you watch the pilot, I guarantee you're gonna watch the whole series. It's tight. It's a tight comedy, and I'm only saying it because it's not my show. It's nothing that could ever be run by just one person.
Yeah, there's too much going on for just one
cast.
person.
It's me and Bashir in a super talented writing room. It's the city of Chicago. Like there's so many people who would be justified in having a stake in the show Southside that I'm just saying, like, just please watch the pilot episode, watch the first episode of season 2, where literally the stakes are stakes. The stakes of the episode.
Season 2, episode 1 is my wife and I watched it and we're like, okay, they went for it all right here.
The second those stakes show up on the screen, people are trying to steal my man's Omaha steaks. And I feel like that is the kind of insane goofiness that, you know, would make me laugh if it was in a show. And I think that's what me and Bashir always try to do. We try to make the show that we would want to watch. And that's always been our North Star. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always been what we try to attain in every episode is just what's a show that we'd want to watch.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Mission accomplished. And on season 1, the Spades tournament is like that literal, like tears coming down my face is one of the funniest things I've ever seen on TV. like one thing after another, and just props, because that was
just the fact that
silliness.
Bashir's character thought it was also a Hot Wings tournament, just from
Yes.
the way it was phrased.
Exactly. No,
like,
that
it's
was
not clear, bro. It's really not clear.
the signage is not clear. No, it's awesome. And like I said, thank you for having me as part of the Sherman Showcase universe as
You
the
are a
promo
huge
voice.
part of the Sherman Showcase experience. I mean, like, I'll just say it to the people listening who don't know, but like, you know, from the work that you did in season 1, I was like, we gotta get this dude involved in the, you know, the next thing we do. So when we did the Black History Month Spectacular, I was like, I'm gonna find a way to get you in there somehow. And you know, like, I wish we could use more of you, but like, I feel like we've, in the time that you and I have known each other, 2/3 of it has been in COVID. So,
yeah,
you know, one of these days we'll be in a position to actually fly you out, so you could actually be, you know, doing some on-camera stuff with this. Because I think,
look,
funny, you get the humor that we try to go for with our projects, and you know, anytime we find those kindred spirits, we're always like, we got to figure out a way to get them involved.
Well, look, man, I appreciate the opportunity, and it's great. You guys can check IMDb. I got an official credit on there. But no, I appreciate it. And look, man, that's just a phone call. Hey, look, vax, boosted, masked, whatever you need. We'll talk about that off camera. Let's get into this episode of the How Did Show. So yes, as you know, the first part of the How Did Show is how did I get here? So Diallo, when it comes to your career and the status that you've reached, what is your answer to how did I get here?
It's funny because I feel like it was both preordained that I would do something in Hollywood, like that I would do something involving storytelling. You know, from the time that I was just the tiniest kid, I always felt like, you know, even playing with G.I. Joes, I always felt like my G.I. Joe stories had to rise to a certain bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was never even fun playing G.I. Joes with other kids because like their storylines were too basic. You know what I mean? Like, I needed like, when I would play, I would like be singing music while the dialogue was flying, you know, fast and furious. And I'd even lay out the whole battle and tell Mom, look, I've laid out the battle, but I'm not going to do the battle till tomorrow because I need to still think of how.
We're working out the storyline.
I had to work out the storyline.
Figure out the love triangle where that's going to come into play.
Yep. And by the way, you joke, but seriously, those love, because everybody had to be in love with Scarlett. She was the only G.I. Joe. Like, it was either Scarlett or Lady J. And you always had to figure out like who was dating who.
Man. It got a little incestuous sometimes, but look, you had to do what you had to do. You got to do what you got to do.
They only had one girl, Joe. And it's funny because, like, you know, we didn't play with dolls. We played with action figures. And yet we were still doing a lot of the same Barbie storylines.
Pretty much.
It's crazy to me to think about, like, I only played with G.I. Joes as the characters that the Hasbro company told us they were for like a year or two, because after a while, like, my Joes were gangsters, and then they were Spider-Man and his friends, and then they were, you know, Star Wars characters, which is ironic because Star Wars had its own toys, but, you know, Joe's had more flexibility and grips and stuff.
And kung fu grips. And
they had the kung fu grips. So like, I was definitely like, they were just my actors, you know, and I would just, you know, they would feel. There was one time when I was really into vampires. I started watching that show Dark Shadows and you know, Doctor Who and stuff like that. And so then those soldiers became those characters. You know, like, it's just, you know, I think that's one thing I worry about as a father is that, you know, these kids nowadays, the games are so advanced, the video games are so advanced. I just hope that they're still learning how to imagine and not have everything just sort of like handed to them to interact with. But I say all that just to say, there's a part of me that thinks, how did I get here? Well, it was meant to be. But then there's the other side of it, which is I graduated from college and didn't even know what I wanted to do with my life. Like, part of the reason I ended up in Hollywood was because I had a sister out there working in entertainment. I was like, well, that seems like that would be something fun. And I always have fun visiting my family in LA. So maybe I'll go out to LA and just see how this works. I mean, like, to a certain extent, I feel like I'm just smart enough to be just good enough to have a lot of interests and be good at a couple of things. But like, I was never forced to do anything. And in a weird way, like, that sort of, you know, put me in a place where it would have been very easy for me to end up as an ad executive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have ended up working at an investment bank and just been a really funny guy at the investment bank, you know?
Hey, Diallo, tell him the one about the rooster.
Tell him one about the black people we didn't give loans to, you know, like.
I love that one. It kills.
That got dark.
Yeah, it did get dark.
But that's really how it is, man. That's really how, I laugh because, along the way we became friends with John Legend, and he used to be at a Boston Consultant Group. He was doing the consulting thing, and he thought he'd just be like the consultant who could really sing. Then at some point he decided, oh, I'm going to go off and do singing for a career, and people thought he was crazy. And I think, to a certain extent, I'm a little bit like that. Like I could have easily ended up in a very corporate gig, but the things that I loved as a child always kept calling me back. And the two things I loved as a kid were music, and it was storytelling and comedy. And I think that that's why I loved Sherman Showcase so much, because it marriages those two things. It marriages the part of me that wants to be, to this day, a DJ who can get up and play one of these big music festivals, but also it allows me to do something that has a little bit of a story arc and a lot of comedy. So that's how I ended up here. I think, I always had my interest from the time I was, damn near 7 or 8 years old. And I've always tried to find a way to incorporate those into my life.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's rare, I think, that people can kind of have a notion of what they want at such a young age and still find a way to like make it come to fruition. What would you say was your first way?
I mean, you want to hear something really crazy? I told my second grade teacher, she was like, and it's weird that she asked me this question, but she was like, yeah, man, you're so smart. Have you thought about where you're going to go to college? Like, I don't know why she would ask a second grader that, but I do remember her asking me that. And I was like, well, what's a really good college? He was like, well, Harvard's really good. And I was like, I'm going to go there. And I set myself to like do my homework all the time, like just to get the best grades I possibly could. From the time I was in second grade, I was saying I was going to go to Harvard from that day on.
Even before you even knew what Harvard,
even before I even knew what it was or what it meant. To this day, I sometimes wonder, was it the best college for me? I don't know. I didn't love college as much as some people seem to have loved their college experience, but from just the time I was really young, I was like determined to go to that school, not any other school, Harvard. And sometimes I'm like, man, I could have been, maybe I would have been better as a Morehouse man. Maybe I should have gone to USC like my grandfather. It's funny to me that was I was always on that track. But yeah, I think maybe more than some, I just had an idea at an early age some of the things that I wanted to do.
You're a laser focused 8-year-old. That's what that is, man.
I was really tight, man. I was laser trained.
There you go, man.
Red dot.
Well-oiled machine.
Red dot. Yeah.
So what would you say was your first time of like actually getting to be a storyteller and, present it to the public and get that feedback of like, oh, wait,
I'll tell you, the first thing I ever did when I was in kindergarten, I wrote.
Oh my goodness.
I wrote The Real Book of Dinosaurs. And it was basically plagiarism, because all I did was take my favorite dinosaur facts out of other books and compile them into. I was really an aggregator. Like in the social media age, I would have called myself an aggregator, not a plagiarist.
By the way, statute of limitations is up on the whole plagiarism.
Yeah, you can't prosecute me. No double jeopardy here.
He's untouchable now.
I'm untouchable. I'm the mob. But I took some cardboard paper and I bound these sheets that I did my own illustrations, and I gave it to the school and they put it in the library. It was called The True Book of Dinosaurs by Diallo Riddle. And then by third grade, I'd actually written a 50-page book called The Adventures of Royce Riddle, which was a Black character who was a spy during World War II, which took my love of James Bond and paired it with my love of World War II. And
this is in third grade.
This is third grade. It had 50 pages. Wow. It wasn't the best. I tied up a lot of loose ends on that last page. I can't say it's a great read, but he snuck in and tried to kill Hitler. It was a good
what?
Book. It was a good book
for advanced for third grade, I would think, man.
They put that one in the library too. So I considered myself published for the time of 8 or 9 years old. So that was the first time as far as like real storytelling in my later life. Bashir and I formed a sketch group after college, and our first sketch group was called Cleo's Apartment, and I'm so proud of this group. The sketch group was comprised of nobody was famous, nobody had done anything. But it was me, Bashir, Robin Thede, Wyatt Cenac, Angie Yarborough, and Nefertari Spencer, Thomas Frazier, and Nika King. I mean, between Wyatt's success as a stand-up, going on the Daily Show, doing his whole thing, Robin Thede, I don't have to tell. I mean, like even at that age, we were all like, "Wow, Robin Thede, she's gonna be a star." you know.
Side note, I was the voice of The Rundown with Robin Thede on BET.
Fantastic show, man.
I thought it was hilarious.
Show. I thought it was so well done. And I used to watch every single episode. I actually went to a live taping. I mean, like, she was so good at it. You know, Thede's a good friend. Actually, one of the first texts I got this morning when we heard about the NAACP Image Awards nomination was from Thede. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's somebody who goes, we just go way back. We go super way back. And Nika King plays Zendaya's mom on Euphoria. Nice. And you know, Thomas Frazier, you know, I'm working with him. We're trying to bring the Tony Baker show to a channel near you. Nice. Coming year. I just feel like everybody's gone on to do something great. Angela Yarbo, the writer. Nefertari Spencer plays Keisha on Southside, but she also plays herself as well as many characters on Sherman's Showcase. So we have a lot of really talented people who we've known since we were all 21, 22 years old, which was yesterday. And yes. And you know, like, it's a classic example of, like, just, you know, meet people at your own level, your own age, get out there, do some stuff, and eventually somebody's going to be in a position to, you know, help everybody out. Now, nobody really helped me and Bashir out in that sense, but I do feel like we've always gone back to our core crew of people to just be like, hey, why don't you play, you know, air on this show? Why don't you come on there with your Mary J. Blige impression? Why don't you, you know, like, and that family continues to expand, because now I consider Brisha Webb, who I was Marlon with, I consider her part of the family. I consider, in his own weird way, Marlon Wayans, who's way more famous than most people I know. But I feel like anytime we do something, he's always like, yo, when are we going to do another show together? And I'm always like, tomorrow, man, let's work on it. So we're working with him on a show that we want to bring to us.
And I mean, you know, you have some extended family now.
Yeah. No, Donovan, you are on the ride, man. Welcome aboard.
No, man, that's awesome. So what was your, like, breakthrough? I know you were talking about, like, the troupe, you had the crew, but what was your breakthrough of first someone getting out there, or you getting a project out there?
Time we got actually paid. Well, let me just say, shout out to the late great Bernie Mac. When we had no money for costumes or wigs, Nefertari was working for him, and he still had a show on Fox. Okay. And we all went to the king himself, and we're like, oh, kind sir, we are but a sketch comedy group. Would you please loan us just a few farthings? And Bernie gave us, I'll never forget, he gave us $800, which at that time might as well have been $1 million. Like, the idea that we had $800 to spend on Cleo's apartment sketch comedy troupe. Yeah, I mean, it changed things. And you know,
that's a hell of an endorsement, man. Bernie Mac, that's huge.
Yeah, and I mean, truthfully, nowadays I look back and I'm like, that man had a private jet. I mean, like, I know. I mean, like,
he could have gave me a little more than $800.
I mean, like, to him, it probably did not. All I'm saying is that we were so thankful, but now I'm like, that $800 may not even meant that much to him, but, like, it meant so much to us.
Yeah, it was everything.
We are so grateful to Bernie. That was our first time getting any money in our pockets, and obviously that was more of a loan. That was like a gift. He didn't expect us to pay it. That was a gift. Yeah. The first time we actually got paid, like, a wage to do it, was when we were working at you know, we started shooting webs for AOL, and HBO used to have a partnership back then. And we did a web show called The Message, which you can still find on YouTube, amazingly. Like, we posted all that stuff in 2007, 2008, and it's still out there. So you can see me and Bashir in our beautiful 20s, you know, looking so young.
There you go.
And then some people saw the stuff we did there. We ended up on a Comedy Central show called Chocolate News, which had David Allen Greer doing sort of his own sort of weekly version of the Daily Show. I remember that. Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because
I do remember that, actually.
We were the baby writers in that room, me and Bashir, and we didn't get any jokes on the show. So when people would say, like, oh, I love Chocolate News, we'd be like, we ain't getting no jokes on the show.
Yeah, none of that was me.
Yeah, and then, like, when people were like, man, Chocolate News is corny as fuck, and we were like, hey, we ain't get no jokes on the show. Like, it was always like, but we love, I mean, to this day, I've always wanted to work with Dag again. I think Dag is somebody we have not worked with since, but we love Dag. We think he is super funny. If we had been in a different place in our career, I think we could have made that show super funny, but we were running up against some guys who had been working in Black comedy since In Living Color. Like, we were definitely like, they were definitely 2 generations, maybe 2 removed from the culture at that time to be funny. And it was a weird room, but it was off of that room that we ended up on Fallon. And I feel like Fallon is when we really made a name for ourselves in the business.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, those are the guys who did History of Rap, and those are the guys who did Slow Jam the News.
Slow Jam the News.
Yeah, I mean, we used to.
What was that like, seeing that actually go to finish?
It was great. It was great. I mean, like, it was Jimmy's idea. He was like, I want to do something called Slow Jam the News, where like I get up and do a slow jam version of the news. But when I think about the degree to which it was our first time working with the Roots, but we immediately liked each other. Like, me, Bashir got along great with Questlove, Black Thought,
right.
Kamal, the keyboardist,
right.
Like we got along with them really quick. And like, people forget, in the early days of Slow Jam the News, we came up with a different melody for the song of Slow Jam the News, a different actual song every single time. It was only later that we sort of locked in on that one version of the song, and the sort of construction never changed again. But it was kind of crazy how much effort we put into that, because we really saw ourselves as like a ragtag Tin Pan Alley, like we write songs for a living crew. And it was also at Fallon that we decided that, there's some songs that we think are really funny that we've written that Jimmy's never going to touch. So let's put those songs away for now. And those songs eventually became some of the songs. Not in theory, they became the songs from Sherman Showcase season 1. Now, I'll say that most of the songs in Sherman Showcase season 1 are songs we came up with during that production. But just the idea of doing racy, edgy comedic songs that were also just good songs and that you could play in a club.
Drop It Low for Jesus. I mean, did you think that was going to take off like it did?
Listen, that was Zuri coming in saying, Zuri is Bashir's younger sister. She plays Stacy on Southside. She was just like, there's a song that I used to always sing for my aunties that made them laugh. And it was called Drop It Low for Jesus. And the second I heard the title, I was like, okay, we're doing this song. Let me just call up Brescia. Let me call somebody who's very religious and see if they think it's funny.
Will you be offended?
And Brescia thought it was funny. So any religious person who was offended by Drop a Low for Jesus could take it up with Brescia Webb. Yeah. It's her fault. I'm just going to put it all at the feet of Brescia Webb.
Yes. I mean, she told us we would not get struck by lightning. So it was greenlit.
And I feel like
that actually charted, didn't it? Like, did it chart or something?
That was the #1 song on Spotify for our show for a very long time. And I think to this day, a lot of people don't realize this from Sherman Showcase, which does hurt my feelings. I feel like Sherman's needs better promotion in the sense that it's on a network that a lot of Black folk just is not on our radar. You know what I'm saying? IFC, is known for Portlandia and Documentary Now. And I think we're a hit with their viewership, but like, it's also hard to tell Black people, hey, go find this channel when most of us have cut the cord anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, so I think that I always look forward to when Sherman's makes it to Hulu, because then at least I feel like more people see it.
And trust me, more people need to see it. It is.
People need to see it, man.
Absolutely hilarious.
I always felt like the music would promote the show and the show would promote the music. Like, it would just be this, thing. But you definitely need marketing dollars. And I think that our executives of the network have been very cool, but I do think that, we could always use more marketing. We could also use more people just saying like, hey, here's a really easy way to get the show. I think if you're not streaming these days, you can't really expect people to tune in. I mean, like, if you're on linear, you're basically telling people, hey, watch it this time on this TV in your house. Like, you can't even watch it on your phone at 3:00 in the morning. No, you have to watch it on the big screen TV in your living room at this hour. Like, it's such an old school way. Yeah, exactly. We're going to tell you where and when to watch it. It's backwards.
No, I got you. But yes, I am all about promoting it. And I would post up examples of the promos that I would get copies of from the promotional team. And it was just always great to be a part of it. It's
By the way, I think they do a great job with the promos. I think the promos look amazing.
No, they're great. So they sound amazing too. I don't know if it's the
voice. I'm gonna blast it in the home theater now that you say that.
But no, that's great. Well, thank you so much for that, because it's just so interesting to kind of hear stories about people just like, yeah, let's just do something we love and then turn it into an amazing career that has grown by leaps and bounds, especially in the last couple of years for you and Bashir.
Well, I'll tell you something I haven't really even told many other people, but like, I'm actually even starting to really enjoy just the producing side of this business. So like, yeah, there are things that I want to act in, there are things I want to write, there are things I want to act and direct in.
Right.
But there's also a part of me that just wants to help other people, because I've run across so many talented, people in this business. I'm just like, let me be the producer on that and help them get their show across the finish line. I'm actually getting a big thrill out of that. And I feel like that's something you can do into your 70s and 80s if you should
absolutely, yeah,
to live that long. Yeah.
Well, look, man, more power to you. I mean, if it's like anything else you've been going on, it's going to be amazing. So keep doing what you're doing.
I just wanted to get done. I always say sometimes it's actually most important. Just get something done, go to bed, wake up tomorrow with tomorrow's energy, and then there's actually a book that I would recommend to people. It sounds like a joke, but it's called The Underachiever's Guide to Life. And there's actually some truth in that stuff. Sometimes you just have to, even if you really, it's like going to the gym. Sometimes you really don't want to go to the gym, and it's not going to be the greatest workout you've ever done. But
like, get it done.
Sometimes you just got to get there, do a little bit, and then wait till tomorrow to like really kill it.
Hey, look, man, that's what I had to do with this show. It was kind of like this idea that I was mulling around for a very long time, and then the mix of COVID and isolation and people consuming stuff
different
at an alarming rate. It was like, you know what? I know a lot of really cool people, a lot of really talented people. Why not get their stories, man? And see who listen to it. You know what I mean? And I just started it. It was just like, let's do it. And we're me and my guy that does the videos, shout out Chico, my editing. I mean, we really just like brainstorm and figure out stuff and the little teasers. It really is just like, let's just get it out there instead of like sitting and waiting for the perfect time, because it'll never come. So let's put it out there, get it out of my head and onto somebody's screen somewhere, and we'll see what happens. And
I think you did a great job, man. I mean, thank you for having me.
All right, so I truly could talk about this like forever, but we got to move this along. So we are going to spin the wheel of what? Yes, sir. All right, so here's this bad boy here.
The wheel itself.
Nothing but the best technology. So what we're gonna do here is
there's your budget right there, my man.
This was not $800. So I would have had some change left over.
Hey, so look, at least you got one. The supply chain, you can't even get these anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's on a tanker somewhere in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
So we're gonna spin this wheel. Hey, no cheating. All right, so we're gonna spin this wheel, and whatever it lands on, you just got to answer it. All right.
Yep.
Let's do this thing.
All right. It is on chicken horse.
All right. This is a fun one. Chicken horse. All right. So all right. So, and this has come up with some other guests and some really interesting answers. So no pressure. But basically, your life depends on it, and you have to fight to the death. Would you rather take on 10 horse-sized chickens,
10 horse-sized chickens,
or 50 chicken-sized horses?
Oh, that's easy.
Which do you take and why?
Give me the 50 chicken-sized horses. Because I don't think the horses are I don't think the horses are necessarily aggressive animals. You give me one chicken-sized horse. I mean,
horse-sized chicken.
Horse-sized chicken. That dude is definitely going to kill you. Like, there are some.
He's trying to take you out.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take on one chicken-sized chicken. Truthfully, on a bad day. Like, have you seen those? They're mean, dude. They're really mean because by the way, they know that I love wings, and so they're trying to get me back for like
you
all
ate
the
my cousin. Yeah,
they've died along the way. No, I don't want to fight any chickens. I don't care what size they are. They have to be like Lego-sized chickens, and I might think about it. Horses, I think the horses are probably pretty cool.
No, they're trying. It's a fight to the death. They know this. They've been programmed.
Yeah, I'm not scared of a horse. I'm just not. I mean, like a chicken-sized horse, he could try and buck me all he wants. I'm definitely winning.
So you can take on 50, no problem. I like it, man. I love the confidence. So I see. Like my mom had
one horse-sized chicken scares me, and I won't be able to.
That is nightmare fuel because my mom for a little while had chickens. I think she had like 8 hens and a rooster. By the way, roosters are psychos.
No, I believe it. I believe it.
Chickens, they weren't really too aggressive, but they meant business when it came down to it. You know what I mean? So I'm with you, man. Like, they are insane.
I've seen my sister-in-law has had chickens up in they basically have almost like a farm now. Actually, my actual sister has chickens now. I think about it in Monroe, Georgia. I have no interest in being around those fuckers. Like, no thanks.
And they shit a lot. They crap.
Yeah,
I've
seen chickens, man. That's a gnarly existence.
Well, you know what? That's a very that's probably like the most definitive. And you're like, easy all day, horses making 100. I'm still
says in a blink, easy choice.
Gotcha. No, I love it, man. Sometimes you just got to be decisive and get it done.
Yeah.
All right. So that's awesome. All right. So now we move on to the second part of the show, which is how in the hell did I get here? So this is where you tell a story about an occurrence, an event, something that happened that made you say, Diallo, how in the hell did I get here? So what do you got?
That's a great question. Give me a second. One second on this. I want to make sure that I land on something that's real.
Oh yeah, we want the real here on the How Did Show.
The real. Well, I'll tell you what. It was about the time that we were ending our run at Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
That we were working with Barack Obama on Slow Jam the News, and it was crazy to me to think that some words that I sat down and typed into a computer. They got printed out, they got handed to a president that I liked.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to work with some presidents. He read them, we laughed, he said them, the country laughed. And just that idea that like something can originate in here and have no body, no corporal form. You know what I'm saying? But then it would come out through the mouth of somebody who I respect.
Most powerful man
like
on the earth at the time.
And I remember thinking, like, how the hell did I get here? and that's really the truth. I mean, like, that was when I was like, I love the writing aspect of this, in some way. Like I wake up every day with a different, mission. Some days I wake up, if I'm on a show like Marlon, I'm just acting. If I'm on one of our shows, I'm acting and writing. Right. And in one case, I'm directing,
and singing.
There'll be future times when I'm just the director, you know what I mean? And I won't be able to just come in and just change whole hog, parts of the script or whatever, out of respect for what the writer did. But that was one time that I was just like, I get paid to create. Your hat says creator. I think about that a lot. Like, there you go.
But no, yeah, that's awesome.
That meant something to me, and I think that still holds resonance for me.
Look, that's a hell of a flex, because outside of like someone who's writing for the White House, like handful of people, man, you wrote for a president. Like that's pretty incredible, and like comedy. It wasn't some speech about
some boilerplate. No, it had to be. By the way, it's such a. It has to be funny to a lot of people, but it also can't be like,
you can't be
edgy,
hurt the image,
because you got to remember when we worked with Barack, he was running for re-election, so they were particularly
looking for something.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember in this skit, he said this, so don't vote for him.
Exactly. By the way, I think we did pitch one joke in the original script for that these people were like, no. I thought it was funny, but his people knew exactly where the line was. I'll put it like that. And even just in his delivery, because technically at the end of Slow Jam the News, we usually wanted whoever the guest was to be like, oh yeah.
Right.
And I guess because he was America's first Black president, like Jimmy was like, can you say, oh yeah? And he was like, oh yeah. Like,
that's all you get.
Any blackness out of that, oh yeah. And I was like, I get it, because there's certain people in the country who
would just jump on
says, oh yeah, like a black man. They're gonna make that a thing. Like anytime something goes wrong in the country, they'll show him going, oh yeah, just to
look at this.
The fact. Yeah, exactly.
Look at this black guy being black.
Man. So he always knew exactly where that line of funny but too funny was.
No, we've gotten a lot of really cool stories on this show, and that might be one of the biggest flexes. Honestly,
well, thank you.
Just
I
putting it out
trying
there.
To flex. I was trying to answer that
as far as name drops go,
how the hell did I get here?
No, that's awesome. But as far as like if you're ranking name drops, that's pretty high on the list, man. Like that's kind of tough to beat. It's kind of like the draw for wild card. But no, that's awesome. And look, like really quick, I just wanted to ask your chemistry with Bashir obviously has been integral to both of your success going along. How did that relationship bond, or like how did you realize like, all right, me and this guy can create something special?
I think for the time we first started working together, we always knew that we had a lot of the same interests. We thought a lot of the same stuff was funny, and we both, truth be told, like neither one of us is a fucker for the lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? Like you heard me mumble that because the kids are
yeah.
But like I never had to worry about somebody not showing up or showing up wasted, and like we just have the same ethic. We have a lot of the same desires to like get to a certain place, and that's why I think we work well together, because like we come from similar backgrounds, and that's really where we
And you met at Harvard?
And we met at Harvard. Yeah, we met in a singing group, an a cappella group. It was actually a gospel group, which is hilarious because I was raised like kind of agnostic and he was raised Muslim. So the fact that we met in a gospel group is kind of hilarious.
Yes, I was gonna. Hey, look, man, you got to diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, man.
You got to show.
By the way, there were people in that group who were Christian and couldn't sing, so it was like,
yeah,
like it was like all over the map. Like it was one come all.
I love
sing if you can sing, or sing even if you don't believe what you're saying.
Yeah,
exactly. But I think that and before I get all the hate mail, I think I consider ourselves religious, but we could go into that another time.
It was college, guys. Lighten up. But yes, look, thank you so much. I won't take up much more of your time. I just wanted to again thank you for being on the show. This was amazing, and let the people know like what you got coming up in the near future and how to connect with you on social media.
Once again, thank you. Once again, please watch Southside if you love good comedy written by people who are very authentic from the South Side Chicago. It's not written by a bunch of LA comedic writers. It's written by true Chicago people. Just like I said, watch the first episode, either season. I guarantee you're going to watch all the episodes because it's a great show created by myself, Bashir, and Bashir's brother Sultan, and you'll love the show. And just tell 5 people about it, because our show, more than other shows, depends on word of mouth. But I can guarantee you give us 21 and a half minutes, we're going to definitely wow you every single time. I
can vouch for that. It is awesome.
And we're going to go off and shoot Sherman Showcase Season 2 next month. Very excited about that. It's going to be a great show. So many of your favorite cast members are coming back, plus a bunch of new people. And it's going to be a blast. So stay tuned for that. And for those of you who read comic books, Bashir and I are working on a DC property. I can't say much about it, but just know that your boys are working behind the scenes to try and bring you something new by the end of the year.
That is amazing. And how can people connect with you on social media?
You can find me at Diallo. When your name is Diallo, surprisingly, you can kind of just do at your name. So it's at Diallo. And that's on Instagram and Twitter.
Love it so much, man. Again, thank you. This was a blast. I hope you had a good time.
I had a great time, man.
Yes, man, this was fun. So everyone, definitely, I can co-sign Southside Sherman Showcase. Check them both out. Tell everyone you know about it. And I guarantee you're gonna laugh at least once or twice every 5 minutes. So yes, thank you again, Diallo. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of The How Did Show. Peace.
There you go.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me and having some fun as we interview some really, really interesting people. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and be on the lookout for more episodes of The How Did Show.